All right, let's talk about something really weird. Something we've all probably seen and felt super uncomfortable about. Laughing when things get serious. I mean, it just feels so wrong, right? But what if I told you there's a fascinating psychological reason for it?
I mean, have you ever seen it? Someone laughing at a funeral? Or maybe when they're getting some really bad news. It's jarring. It's like a record scratch in the middle of a sad song. It just feels like a total glitch in how we're supposed to act.
And let's be honest, our first thought is probably not a kind one. We see that and we think, wow, that person is cold, or disrespectful, maybe even cruel. And you know what? That's a totally natural conclusion to jump to.
But what if all of that is wrong? This is where things get really interesting. Because what looks like a total lack of empathy might actually be the exact opposite. Psychology tells us this isn't some mean-spirited choice. It's a deep, complex, and totally involuntary response from a brain that's just overwhelmed.
So let's dive into the science here. We're really talking about a brain in overdrive. A brain under so much pressure that it kind of short-circuits. And it does so in this very specific and, very misunderstood way.
Okay, so the official term for this is nervous laughter. And the key word, the most important word in that whole definition, is involuntary. This is not someone trying to be funny. It's a physical, biological reaction to extreme stress or fear or just crushing anxiety.
Yeah, check out this quote. It really nails it. It's a sign of a brain trying to survive emotional pressure. Think about that. This isn't about being inappropriate. It's a survival tactic. It's the brain's emergency brake when the emotional floodgates just burst open.
But why laughter? Of all the things the brain could do, why does it pick that? Well, it turns out psychology has some pretty solid answers. 6 of them, in fact. So let's break down exactly what's going on in there.
Okay, so here's the game plan the brain uses. Think of it like a toolkit for an emergency. First up, it's a release valve. Laughter literally triggers the part of your nervous system that calms you down. It's a quick fix for extreme stress. Second, it's a defense mechanism. The brain takes a huge, scary emotion like shock and basically swaps it out for something more manageable, laughter. Third, it has a lot to do with high emotional sensitivity. Some people are just wired to feel things more intensely, so their physical reaction, their overflow, is stronger and faster. Then, number 4, it's about regaining control. Laughter can actually act like a mental reboot, stopping you from spiraling into dark thoughts. Number 5 is all about social pressure. You know that feeling when you're told not to do something, and suddenly that's all you can think about? The pressure to be serious can actually make the laughter leak out. And finally, number 6, and this is the big one, the one that changes everything, it can be a sign of intense, overwhelming empathy.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that last one, because it's the one that completely flips the script on what we think we're seeing. It's what I like to call the empathy paradox.
So really, it all comes down to this one question. Does this kind of laughter mean a person just doesn't care? I mean, that's our gut reaction, right? We see a smile, we hear a chuckle, and our brain just screams lack of empathy. But is that what's really going on inside?
This is where we have to separate what we see from what's felt. On the outside, what do you see? Inappropriate laughter. But what's happening on the inside? An intense, almost painful wave of empathy. What we interpret as disrespect is actually a desperate attempt by the brain to just stay in control, to self-regulate. And what looks like coldness, it's really just too much emotion to process, a total system overload.
So here's the bottom line. Psychology is really clear on this. Nervous laughter isn't a sign of too little emotion, it's a sign of too much. It's a biological overflow valve for when our emotional circuits are just completely and utterly flooding.
And so that leaves us with a pretty powerful thought, right? Now that you know the why behind this incredibly strange human behavior, it kind of changes everything. The next time you see it, instead of jumping to judgment, maybe you'll see something else. Maybe you'll see a brain doing its absolute best just to cope with a situation it can't handle. So the question is, what will you choose to understand?